CFB paint back again. Corey, I know I'm getting old because I am still recovering from a late night game, BYU versus TCU. The late game is still dragging, like the effects of still feeling it.
I'm up every night till midnight anyway, so it was what it was.
I'm just not built to bounce back. Like I have no problem staying up that late. It's the recovery afterward drags on for a couple days. Nonetheless, another week in the books. Some notable results. A lot of it kind of went more or less chalk, but maybe even how we got there was a little surprising. Like Texas, Georgia to me was the most like, oh. And I guess the other big one, and maybe we spend time on this. Right? Did you see any of Bama, Oklahoma?
I watched the entire game multiple times.
Multiple times, awesome. So for our Oklahoma contingent of listeners, one or two, tell us what you thought about the game.
Oh my word! So, I'm gonna pull this up. Just the fact that Bama just kind of kept giving the Sooners the ball. Okay, so it felt very intentional. Like the Sooners were going for turnovers. If you watch that game, you watch players trying to punch the ball actively and trying to go. Like it's probably the most active I've seen a team. Like we're gonna force turnovers, and it was absolutely critical to this win to force these turnovers. I think, if I'm not wrong, Oklahoma scores like 17 points off of turnovers. You have the interception for a touchdown. You have at the beginning of the game, you have the fumble that ends up being a field goal.
Fumbled punt. Oh, the fumble. Yeah.
Yeah, the fumble that ends up being a field goal, and then there's a couple other things. I think they score another touchdown.
The other one is the fumbled punt return. Like the punt return set them up inside the 20 or something like that, and they punched. They punched it back, or punched it in for a touchdown on that one too.
Yeah, you're talking their first 17 points come directly off turnovers in that game. Like even the field goal, actually, I think that late in the game comes off a fumble. So we might be talking. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, it was a lot. So
yeah, I think
my thought process. Oh, go ahead. You want to hear more, or you want to keep talking?
No, go for it. Sorry, I thought you paused, so I was going to jump in. But go ahead, give me your analysis.
We're
gonna do it.
I'm freezing. Okay, yeah. So the things I found interesting is like Oklahoma did not move the ball well. They did not they could not have sustained drives. I think if you look at the stats, I think it's like Oklahoma had 212 yards. Like could not move the ball super well. But Mateer made critical plays on critical downs that were needed. I think of when they were driving at one point in time, it's a 3rd and 13, and he throws a ball out to the corner, and it's just like a perfect ball. Could have gotten picked off, but it's like just outside the reach. And it's like he just made the critical plays he needed to make at the right time to put them into position, and their defense made everything else, work for them. And they've been a team that's consistently put up like what we talked about this, I think, multiple weeks, 20-something points, and they're like, is 20 enough? And it was this week, and it was just an overall impressive performance. I am critical on Alabama's handling of the last probably 8 minutes. About 7 minutes left, they end up getting the ball, and I remember looking at this, and they take almost 4.5 minutes to get outside of their own 40. And I'm like, you got to get down the field and give yourself a chance. Like, Oklahoma has shown that they cannot move the ball at all on you consistently. Like, go hurry up. If you don't get it, great. You punt the ball back to them because you're going to get it back again. And so I don't understand why you didn't give yourself multiple chances there. But I'm glad, being rooting for Oklahoma. I texted Kyle this week and I was like, hey, what do Oklahoma and Florida State have in common? I'm like, both beat Alabama. It's the only thing we can really hang our hat on. It was all around just an impressive performance. I mean, you still got torn up. They threw for 326 yards. I think Simpson threw for like 246 in the first half. Like they were moving the ball. It was just critical turnovers at critical times. And even then there should have been a fourth turnover, the interception in the end zone that didn't get that. I mean, I understand the PI behind the play, but maybe I wouldn't call it. Maybe I would have called it. If I'm a Bama fan, I probably would have called it. But it could have been a drastically different game. And so props to Oklahoma for pulling it out. All right, that's enough said.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think like yeah, last week, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we said that hey, their defense is gonna basically have to win in this game. I think those were
Yeah.
kind of our words, and they more or less did. Again, like they made just enough plays on offense, but the defense, and especially going into the game, I wasn't certain they could do it. Again, I don't think I picked this game. I think I said I leaned Bama, but I didn't feel comfortable picking them versus the spread or anything like that. But I was like, I think Bama will probably win the game.
Yeah.
But and I felt like even more so that when I realized when our Mason Thomas was announced as out, I was like, oh, he's a big part of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, did they have basically everyone step up and make a big play. I just felt like it was kind of across the board on the defense there. Like, man, I just felt like they had lots of different players make critical plays. And the one thing I'll say about John Mateer, like, so again, I watched Washington State pretty closely last year because they were
Mm-hmm.
on my win totals draft team for my in-laws group, and it was just maddening. He'd make two or three like unbelievable plays, and then just have like stretches of a game where he couldn't move the football, where he'd throw like you just kind of a loose cannon, right? He'd throw two or three interceptions in a game where it's like, what were you doing throwing three interceptions to to San Jose State? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. I
But
mean,
then,
he was way better than he was in Texas against Texas. Remember how in Texas he could not throw a ball on target, and this one was like, hey, they're pretty okay. Like they're
yeah,
respectable.
yeah, and again, I think we at the time even chalked that up. Like maybe he just tried to come back a little bit too soon after that surgery. So I'm giving him a pass on that Texas game. But what I was going to say is like there's a couple of plays in this game which I did not see it start to finish, but I did see some where it's like okay, first down they take a shot, nothing there, and then they do like a design QB run on second down, and it looks like it stopped for a 2 yard loss, and then all of a sudden he like squirts his way out to and then stretches his entire body, and it's like, oh, instead of 2nd and 8, you're at 2nd and 4.
Yeah.
And he's just done those kinds of things where it's like that I think is the unique kind of capability that he has. He's tough to bring down. He's a big physical guy. He's a good enough passer. He's a decent runner. Again, I think you'd like to see him get a little bit more help from like a more traditional run game, and maybe a little bit more help on the outside. But right now the offense, like you said, is if they're scoring in the mid-20s, you feel like they really have a shot against just about anyone.
Yeah. And like the other thing that OU did well and Alabama didn't is like OU's kicker was such an asset to their team.
That guy is a sniper. Like,
Yeah, the 50-yard field goals. I
what's
feel
his
like
name? I forget it. But yes,
easy, and I'll pull it up real quick.
yeah, you cross midfield and you're kind of like, okay, I have 3 points in my back pocket. Like,
Yeah, Tate Sandell.
yes, that's it. Thank you.
He goes 3 for 3, 52 yards. I mean, if you miss one field goal that game, you lose the game. And Bama missed that one field goal at the end of the half, and the kicker's chewing out the.
Yeah, I've seen all the conversation about that. Oof.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting watching it live. You're like, oh, what's going on here? Like, but OU, they what's the word? Like they were able to do what they needed to do when they needed to do it. Like there weren't a ton of great things. I mean, they go 3 for 13 on third down. Like, but that 3rd and 13 when Mateer hits a deep ball sets them up for a field goal. There's another time where they convert a first or for third down and sets them up for another field goal. Like just enough when as needed. I think the longest drive they had all day was 41 yards. Granted, it helps when you get the ball in the 30-yard line, so that you only have 1 or 2 drives that have to go that, or that can only go 30 yards. But that 41-yarder ended up in the game-winning field goal, and yeah, and Bama squandered and messed up the end. To be frank, I think Bama would have won that game, like if you gave Bama another shot, because they moved the ball really well, and you should have just gone fast.
Yeah. Again, I didn't catch the end of the game, so I don't really have a comment on that. But
Like, so
I'll take your word for it.
OU kicks a field goal, and I think you have 13:41 left. Bama goes three and out and punts, but then they turn the ball back to him with 11 minutes. And to OU's credit, they only get 8 plays off. They only get 20 yards, but they are able to take off a good 4 minutes. They get it down to 7 minutes. And by that time, I think they're on the Alabama 6. By that time, there's 7 minutes and 6 seconds left. And by the time they get to, let's look at this. By the time they get to the Alabama, no. Let's go, yeah. By the time that they get to their own Alabama 44, you're under the 2 minute mark. You haven't even got onto their side of the field yet to give yourself a chance. And you got to go faster than that. Like, there was just so much. Even the commentators said there's no urgency here, and I'm like, yeah, this is a problem. You got to get out of here, and you got to get out of there quickly. And if you watch, I think the complete opposite. If you watch the A&M game, when they do their 99-yard drive, that drive is quick. They just boom, 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 boom. I don't know. It was a fun game to watch. I'm happy with the result. Does it mean the Sooners are in? I don't know. We'll see if they don't drop another one. I mean, you play Missouri, which you should win, but you never know. They can get you. And then you got LSU, which you never know. They could get you. So, if they end up in a shootout, they're going to be cooked. I mean, the one benefit that they had against Tennessee last week when they scored 33 points is they also had multiple turnovers. So maybe they're hitting the turnover luck right at the right time. Because if Missouri or LSU can put up a decent amount of points on them, they're going to be screwed.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing that with a true freshman quarterback for Missouri on the road. That'll be tough.
And Missouri's not beat anybody in reality.
They haven't put up many points.
But I'm sitting there saying, like, you beat Mississippi State, you beat Auburn in double overtime, and you beat South Carolina. Those are the 3 SEC teams you've beat. You've lost to Vanderbilt, you've lost to A&M, you lost to Bama, you lost to anybody that was any real team. We'll see.
So A&M had the comeback of the century. Maybe not of the century, but of their program's history. All I saw...
Did you watch that game?
Of that game, I remember you called me. You were like, turn this game on.
I lost you.
And I think at that point, the comeback was not quite complete, but close. They were, I think it was 24-30 at that point.
Is that when you popped on?
Yeah. So I don't have a ton of the... I saw that they were down, I think, was it 17-0? Or 17-7? I can't remember. They were down early.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that the deficit got to what? Was it a
27?
27. So 30. Oh, sorry, not 17-7. Was it 17-3? Because they were down 30-3. Right?
Yeah, 17-3.
Okay. So yeah, I think that was the one score. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
17-3 in the first quarter, and then even more so. Although I watched this game, and I flipped it on at halftime, and watched the comeback. And then I went back and rewatched the whole game again because I wanted to see what happened again. And knowing what happened, and even watching like how the game played out, it's like you watch A&M and their first drive looks pretty okay, and then all of a sudden Reed and the receivers kind of just shut down, drop upon drop upon drop upon inaccurate balls behind people, balls over the top, being hit. You sit there and talk about all the turnovers that South Carolina had to be successful. I think, what do they have? 2 turnovers in the beginning? I'm saying there were so many. There were like 4 or 5 opportunities where they didn't have turnovers, that the ball was in their hands. And just watching this game was kind of just so funny to me. If I go back to the play-by-play real quick, we get to there's how much time left in the second quarter? There's 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and Sellers throws a ball over the top of his receiver, and the safety picks it off. It's just a little high. And so A&M picks it off, and they run it back to the 6-yard line. I think that's what they do. Yeah, they return it all the way back to, the 6-yard line. And at that moment, the score is 20-3. And my thought process was like, the Gamecocks have had so many balls in their hands and not made these interceptions. And this guy makes this interception, and I know the score is 20-3, and I know we have 5 minutes left, and this score is supposed to go to 30-3. How does this work out?
Yeah.
You have a dropped pass in the middle of you have a run, and then you have a wide open touchdown to Conception is dropped, and then you have another terrible pass that's off the side of Conception, and then you're like, all right, well, you're at the 6-yard line, and it's doinked off the side of the goalpost, and you're like, what the crap? Like, this is when you feel like the gods are against you after you've seen 4 or 5 drops from wide open players that you can't score, and then South Carolina gets the ball back. Great, they're on their 6-yard line, but they do nothing with it. 3 and out, and they have to punt the ball, or no, 3 and out, and then they punt the ball back. So now you're down to a minute 39. And you're like, South Carolina is still supposed to score another 10 points in this half. How is that going to even play out? 2 plays later, you get the pick the pick in the end zone. Oh yeah, because the punt return they punt off, and then within 2 plays, A&M's back at the 6-yard line, and you're like, holy cow, how's this going to happen? And they intercept them in the end zone on an underthrown ball, and then one play to Nick Harbor, is that his name? Nick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he does a quick little turn, and nobody's catching him, and he's gone. You're like, okay, holy cow! Like, this is where they get the 7, and that's where the little bump happens from the Texas.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because he runs all the way through down through the tunnel and kind of comes in. Kind of looks like he's like pulling his leg a little bit. I don't know whether it's like a celebration or it's like, oh, I'm just stretching out. And then they're coming back out, and that bump happens. And you're like, okay, well, there's still a minute left in the game. Like, they're supposed to get the ball back and go score again. How does this work out? And no joke, 2 plays later, there's another interception. And you're like, okay, now South Carolina is starting to catch the ball, even though they've had it in their hands 4 or 5 times. And at one point in time, Marcel Reed has been like 1 for his last 10 with a dump down to his running back that went for like 35 yards. Everything is, there's been, not that there hasn't been balls on target, but everything that has been on target has been dropped. And you get to this, all right, well, thank you for handing us the ball. There's a minute left. We'll get it right here in a field goal position and kick a field goal. And just an insane game from the Gamecocks for the first half. And also just how off Marcel Reed was. At one point in time, I had the stats. You go on and talk about something that you want to talk about, but I'll pull up that in a second. Here.
Yeah, you can pull up the stats. I don't have, again, a ton. Again, I didn't catch most of this game. I just, like, going a little bit more big picture. South Carolina had 4th quarter leads against Texas A&M, Alabama, and Missouri, and lost all of those games.
Yeah.
The A&M lead was at the start of the 3rd quarter, I guess, was just 6. So that was a close game. I mean, by that point, it was a close game. Alabama was down 8 at the start of was down 1 at the start of the quarter. They scored another touchdown with 10 minutes left to go up 8. Alabama scores a touchdown, gets the 2-point conversion to tie it, and then scores a touchdown with 30 seconds left to win the game against South Carolina. And then Missouri, again, you're ahead a 2-point lead going into the 4th quarter, and then you're shut out 11-0 in the 4th quarter. So Gamecocks have been right there so many times. I'm sure their fans are just over it at this point, where it's like, I think they could be up 40 with about 10 minutes left, and they're still probably sweating bullets.
It's true. It reminds me of how A&M kind of fans are kind of normally like, oh, this is our year. Okay, don't get excited, because it's going to come back and bite you. And it almost came back to bite you. But, yeah, so I have the stats. Marcel Reed in the first half is 6 for 19 with 141 yards and 2 picks. And we're talking, in addition to that, I know off the top of my head, there was at least 3 drops that were like in their hands. Perfect. And then there are 3 balls that are in South Carolina's hands that did not get picked off. So you're talking like just the roughest of the rough halves. Grateful that South Carolina didn't have a few more picks. And then this is with like 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. Marcel Reed in the second half is 16 for 20 for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. And like watching that comeback was just kind of fun to you see A&M kind of go down the field and have no problem scoring on that first drive. And then I think it's the next drive where you have a 4th and, no, is it the first drive? It's a 4th and 12? No, yeah. I'm pulling up. Oh, yeah. It's the first drive where it's 4th and 12 and Marcel Reed runs for the first down. And you're like, okay, maybe this will work out for them. And they go and score a touchdown. And then the next drive, they also have another 4th down that they convert on 4th and 1 on a short pass, which is very similar to the play that they ran right beforehand where Marcel does not hit this player in stride and misses him. And so it's like, wow, you have that gutsy little part. And then every time they convert these 4th downs, they go right into a big play and score the touchdown, which is kind of fun to watch. And then the next drive when they get the ball, it's they have a 10-yard penalty, which kind of sets them back, and then all of a sudden, boom, a big pass over the top, and then a quick touchdown. Like they just made use of all their opportunities until we get to the last drive, and they fumble in the red zone. Did you watch that part at all?
Mm-mm.
A&M is driving again. They're up 31-30. They're going to put the game away, 3rd and goal at the 1. And South Carolina's like, all right, you've gone from 1st and goal at the 5, 2nd and goal at 1, 3rd and goal at the 1. They bring in Morrow. I think he's a freshman. No, is that right? He runs to the left and then he throws the ball, like trying to throw it to his running back like it's almost like a design, like run the ball outside and kind of suck that player in and throw it over the top. But he throws a bad ball and it hangs on that line. And there's a part where South Carolina almost can pick it up and just take off and run. I thought to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, they've done all this work to come back and they're going to lose it off this one play. Yeah, it's a backward pass.
Got it. Okay.
And they're going to lose it off this play. And he can't pick it up at first, and so then he falls on it, and the call's upheld. But now you're like, all right, South Carolina has a chance. They have to go the whole field. Can they do it? And just what we've seen from the A&M's defense, especially the whole second half even, like they just made South Carolina's life completely impossible that second half and could not get anything going, and they kind of crushed their dreams out real quick. But I thought for a second there, I was like, oh my gosh, are the Aggies going to come all the way back just to lose this at the end? That would be a heartbreaker too. So fun games. I know that the Aggies probably did some type of sideline voodoo to make sure that worked out. I don't know, with their little chance, it probably worked out. But dude, as like you said, you got to feel for the Gamecocks. Yeah, exactly. That's the normal of the things that they have, you know.
That's true. But yeah, those ones are like the back and forth. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I will say we felt like we had a little bit of Heisman Mendoza last week, bringing themselves back at the end, driving themselves. And this felt a little bit the same way. Like Marcel Reed kind of had a terrible first half. You could have probably played worse in the first half. And then you had a phenomenal second half. You ended up throwing for 439 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, you do have the 2 picks at the beginning of the game, but like, that's insane. I don't know. It was cool.
I was waiting for you said Heisman Mendoza, and I was like, oh, what's he got cooked for Marcel Reed?
At one point in time, like, to me, if I was giving out my Heisman this year, I would have given out to Marcel Reed. So far, I know that these quarterbacks necessarily haven't been as good, but I feel like he's carried that team a little bit more. They have a good defense, but he's had to be a much better player than he was last year.
Portion of their offense, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
okay,
fun game.
We talked about that one where there's kind of a seesaw at the end of who's going to win the game. I saw a game on Friday night where neither team wanted to win. Can I tell you about it?
Yeah, let's go.
So, did you watch any of Clemson Louisville?
You talking about the Clemson game? No, yeah. I did not watch it.
Oh, well, I mean, spare yourself the agony. I'll just tell you about it. But, like I said, neither team wanted to win this game. By the end of it, okay, so it's kind of back and forth game. We'll just jump into the fourth quarter. It's 20-19. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Fourth quarter starts 19-3, and Clemson fumbles. They fumble the ball. Let's see. They're up by. They're down 6. Clemson fumbles the ball on the. Yeah, they fumble on the 1.
Yeah, that's what it says on the 1.
Yeah, okay, on the 1, and so they fumble on the 1. Sorry, on. I'm gonna get this mixed up now. I'm reading this, and I wish we'd have done this like right after, because I think they fumbled on back-to-back plays. Yeah, they do. So fumble recovery. Yeah. They fumble on 3rd and goal. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle, runs the ball and he fumbles. And no gain on the 3rd and goal. Louisville won. They recover it. The next play, they run again, and they fumble again, and it's recovered by Louisville. So again, a chance to tie the game there. They don't do anything with it. Louisville 3 plays and a punt. Or 3 plays, 4 yards, and a punt, 2 minutes off the clock. The next Clemson possession, 6 plays, 56 yards, and a touchdown. So it's 20-19 now, Clemson. Here's where things get wild.
7 minutes left in the game.
Yes, thank you. So then Louisville has a fast drive that kind of stalls out, and they miss a field goal. Then, so they miss a field goal. Clemson 3 and out, but on the punt, fumbles the snap. The punter fumbles the snap. He's tackled. Louisville gets the ball like on the Clemson 20 with another chance. Field goal wins you the game. And they miss another field goal. I believe this one was, their drive is 4 plays minus 20 yards. They false start. Then they have another false start. Let's see, false start, rush for 2, rush for 3, complete for something. Unsportsmanlike conduct. There it is, yeah. Okay, yeah, so 20 yards and penalties take them back. They miss another field goal. And then Clemson, again, gives them the ball back another time. Like, it was just like, no one wants to win this game. Either one of them could either take the lead or ice this game with just competent play down the stretch. And it was just like, oh, man. Like, again, I think I joined the game right after I think I turned it on, and it was at the commercial going into the commercial break going into the fourth quarter. And it was just like, neither one of these teams want this. So, I don't know. It just made me laugh. So not a real consequential one when we look at like kind of the outlook. I guess it's consequential that Louisville is probably effectively eliminated from the playoff. But that was just kind of a funny, wild one.
You gotta love the ACC.
It never disappoints.
ACC.
but it does disappoint. But it never disappoints. It's always there to disappoint you.
The ACC
so it's reliable. It's a reliable disappointment.
It's like the new Pac-12 from years back. You're like, you're not really going to get anything really good out of it right now. We can talk Indiana struggled a little bit, but came back or really put away business in this third and fourth quarter. I didn't get eyes on that one.
I didn't watch any of it either. So,
Fernando Mendoza goes 22 for 24 for 299 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, you have 2 incompletions the whole game.
He's just crisp, efficient. He knows what he's doing.
Ohio State handles business against UCLA. UCLA's quarterback was out, so no biggie there. And then the Georgia-Texas game is the next one that you'd have to talk about. I didn't get eyes on it, but just the fact that Georgia is always at least 2 scores ahead and never and Texas never has the ball to be within a score. And then Georgia with the onside kick. Golly, if that got pulled on my team, I'd be so mad at my players. But like, just sit there and wait till the ball's kicked and then go back. Like, you gotta wait.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything you want to say on there about that team.
Yeah, I just saw the score. I was in transit most of that time.
I feel like that effectively means Texas is not going to get into the playoffs.
I certainly hope so. Like, I just don't feel like they've earned it. All right, so you've went up against what we're going to call the national championship contenders, right? Ohio State and Georgia. Came up short in both of those games. And then you also lost to a really bad Florida team.
And that's, I think, the difference. Because if you look at BYU, potentially, they would be losing potentially twice to Texas Tech. And do they deserve to get in? Maybe, maybe not. But they don't have a loss to a terrible, terrible team yet. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Although you have Oklahoma, which has got losses to Texas, which isn't a terrible team, but not a good team. And then who else is their loss to? Ole Miss. Okay, Ole Miss is a good team, so they don't have bad loss. The person that's also not getting punished from a bad loss is Bama, but that's a different story.
We'll lose another game, and then that Florida State game becomes notable.
Yeah, you lost that.
If you lose to Auburn, maybe just a little bit of a preview, but Auburn has the chance at home to maybe knock you out of the playoff. I don't know. That place is going to be nuts. That one just can't miss this year.
Yeah. Then
we'll see if they can do anything with it.
Struggles with Florida. Yeah. Ole Miss struggles with Florida. Finally was able to put them away at the end. But I think those are the kind of the highlights of the game. I mean, Miami handles business. Georgia Tech. I didn't even talk Georgia Tech. Did you look at Georgia Tech or see the game?
I just saw the highlights. I didn't see the game down to down. Boston College.
Yeah, I can't believe 19 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win.
Yeah, Boston College has had their heart ripped out multiple times this year. They at home too. So they almost beat Cal early in the season. At Michigan State, that game went to overtime and they lost. They have just not been able to close out games. So should have known that was one where it's like, all right, no lead is safe here. Like they need to be up about 40 with a minute left, and even then, I'm not sure. But
yeah, I mean, Texas
I
Tech
feel like
obliterated UC.
I feel like Georgia Tech is fading down the stretch. That's the last thing I'll say on that.
It feels like that a little bit. I'm interested to see if they can rally themselves and make that game against Georgia interesting, but right now I have little belief that that's going to be the case.
Same.
They still have a formidable foe in Pitt this next week, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. USC second half comeback against Iowa, and it was Iowa's second straight game in just like absolutely challenging conditions with regard to weather. Went and faced.
What do you expect?
They hosted or. Well, this one was in Southern Cal. Yeah, I was talking with some of my coworkers in San Diego, and they're like, "Man, the weather was just so nasty this weekend." And I was like, "Yeah, that's some of us deal with that more often than others. Not us here in Utah, but like growing up in Florida. Yeah, it'll rain."
Yeah. I lived in LA, and we'd get like 1 week or 2 weeks a year where it would be like a rainstorm or a decent rainstorm. But yeah, I had friends that went to Disneyland this last little bit, and they're like, or it was just like, yeah, of course we go on the worst week, to go. So you gotta feel bad for Iowa.
Okay, last game for me, like the TCU BYU game. Can we touch on that one?
Yeah, we should touch on that one, and we should touch on Florida State too.
Oh yeah, which I didn't catch much of because I didn't expect them to do anything, and good for them, they won. Congratulations to those seniors. I'm still out. Doesn't change my perspective. But
what I will say about that game, it was surprising how many fans turned out for that game. That stadium was pretty full.
It was senior night, right? Like it was the last home game, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, and the crowd was in it for the whole game, and that game was never in doubt. And it's weird what this dichotomy of this team is. It's like you win at home, you lose on the road. And you lost for 2 years on the road, but you tend to beat the teams that you shouldn't. Maybe you were supposed to beat Virginia, but I don't think any of us thought this would be a 34-14 beatdown. And then the announcements right before the game that, hey, Virginia Tech's in talks with James Franklin, and yeah, we can touch on that a little bit more later.
Yeah, we'll touch on that for sure.
I don't know. It was a good game for Florida State. Can they win away? That will determine. Can they win away, and can they beat Florida to determine whether they can get to a bowl game or not? So
I think you got to have this one this week.
Yeah, you got to have this one. I think Florida beats you, but it is interesting to me to think like this. Like if you'd gone beforehand and said, before the season, you said I think this team is 7-5, 8-4. I think that's what most people would have said, and that would have been the improvement. That would have been okay before the year, and everybody's still like up in arms. And I went back and saw look at Florida State's schedule. I know we've talked about this. Like you lose to Virginia in overtime. You lose to Miami by 1 score, albeit you're closing. You're kind of, you don't really have a shot to win it ever, right? You lose to Pitt by 3 points. You lose to Stanford in a loss that probably shouldn't have been a loss if you're really being honest about how if the referee was evaluating what happened, because the player gets in. Like,
yeah,
I firmly believe that. And so you're looking at like 3 games where it's like one play goes a different way. You've won. You're now an 8-3 team, 8-2 team. And so like I kind of get the idea of where they're like, okay, we can leave them in. We're not as bad as everybody thinks we are. We're losing to teams you're not supposed to lose to, but like you're gonna have sometimes really good luck and sometimes really bad luck. And if you're gonna win at least on the road, I can give you props on that potentially, but we'll see what happens. So
yeah,
that's my take.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think the longer it drags on and he's not let go, I just don't know. Like maybe they are going to keep him another year. And again, I've made the argument for it, so I understand why. At this point, I'm kind of like, I don't know what good it does you to keep him one more year other than save you some money.
What if he turns things around, which is be weird?
That to me is one of those things where it's like, turns it around to what? Because I think we've kind of seen what this. Okay, like I mean,
because Norvell is at a team that should have been in the national championship or in the playoffs and got robbed.
I agree.
And he did that with lesser talent on some spots. So
no, I think that team's way more talented than this team.
No, I didn't say that they were not more talented this team. I said it was a lesser talented team. Like, I think that team had a very good defensive line and a smart quarterback.
Quarterback. I would say that you also, I mean, you had an NFL running back. You had at least one NFL receiver.
Who's your NFL running
back? Not Jared Verse. Trey Benson was with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I thought that team, obviously deserved it. But yeah, if you were to somehow, but like, my question is, who's playing for this team next year? Like, I think you're going to have to, you're going to have to pay up a lot. There are some pieces that I like, some freshmen that I like, and I think I've said this this is a while back, kind of mid losing streak, where it's like, there's pieces, but it's hard to get excited about it because I'm not sure how many of them are going to return. Maybe if the staff stays together and they're able to convince them, like, hey, we're still building. All right. Okay. I'm not believing it, but I'll support him, right? Like that. Let's put it that way. So
yeah, you got to be excited about Chroma. I don't know who's catching your balls next year. And who's playing quarterback even next year.
Boggs, I think, is one of your wide receivers. Like, I think you like him. He's a true freshman.
Made some stupid mistakes in the Clemson game though.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what you're referring to, but nonetheless. There are. I think this freshman class is actually pretty good. The Desir twins, of course, are kind of a big part of that. Shamar Arno in the defensive backfield. There's some good pieces to it. It's a good team, or it's a good class. I hope they stick around and develop at Florida State. Otherwise, they'll probably have great careers elsewhere.
Great careers elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk BYU.
All right. This will be fast. That was open and shut, and it was funny because BYU had lost 5 straight to TCU over the course of 15 or 20 years, right? Like, it stretches back to their Mountain West days, that losing streak to TCU. But I just kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? And it's just like, at some point, their offense is going to click, and it's like, no, it's just not. I continue to bang the drum on this. I was right. I'm still right. I will be right until the end of my days. The young pass rushers for BYU are pretty special. And so if you can get to a place where you're forcing, again, if you're forced, like Brandon Sorsby struggled under pressure in a few different games, I think if you can earn the right to rush the passer against Cincy, could be a long night for him. Nusi Taumapeo, Tausili Akana, it may not completely show up in the stat sheet. I love their pass rush package, that they're throwing out on third downs now. It's really good. I think that you've got 2 NFL upside players there. And so that's awesome. And it pairs pretty well with the rest of what they've got on defensive personnel, especially in third and long, they've got a pretty good secondary. It's a good football team. It's a really good football team. I'd even go to say, I think Bear had a nice bounce back game, played pretty strong. The outcome really wasn't in doubt. Just me being, kind of that nervous fan was the only thing that made me nervous. It was pretty cool. You talked about FSU's kind of, hey, the fans were invested all the way to the end, even though it's a 20-point game by the end of the game. Same deal with BYU. I don't know if you watched the game. TCU got kind of close to the goal line very late, and it was this touchdown, if they were to score, does not make any difference, but it was right into the end zone where the student section is. Stadium was not filled at that point. People had started to filter out quite a bit, but that end of the stadium where the students were was pretty full still. And they're getting
loud. Get back-to-back false starts.
A couple of false starts, and then a stop on downs. So
you're excellent. 4th and 1, and you end up 4th and 11. That's rough.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to be in the crowd for that. It's a good team. I think that program is in as good a place as it's been in a very long time. I saw
somebody talking the other day, and I can't remember who this was, and they're like, it might have been Barstool that was talking. It was like, Sitake doesn't get enough credit. He's probably a top 10, top 15 coach. He will never leave this spot, but that he needs to get his flowers. And I was like, oh, that's interesting to hear. And then did your Dave Portnoy go off on Barstool about
you sent that my way, yeah.
How he expects BYU should be in the playoffs? they got to get through Cincinnati. They've got to and UCF.
UCF.
But, yeah.
I think if you win those two, you got like it, and I would say like don't lose. You maybe have to lose closer this time to Tech than last time.
And that would be a hard thing to do.
I still don't think you have to win. Like I think you should probably be able to be in where it's like, okay, yeah, we've lost to one team, but that team is probably a national championship contender, right? Like contender, right? Like, I'm not saying
believe that.
Yeah, they're top 5 or 6 somewhere in that neighborhood, right? I think right now there might even be at 4, but like. I mean, we'll see what the playoff committee, what the selection committee thinks tomorrow. But that to me is like, you can only beat the teams in front of you. I kind of, the strength of schedule, strength of record thing, the numbers seem to like actually favor BYU more than most. So like, and even then, I kind of, the whole strength of schedule thing, I think is stupid. I think it's now just an excuse to keep teams out that aren't in the right conferences. Right. It's kind of always been that, but it's even more transparent that that's what it is, because if we only schedule against ourselves, we kind of can pull up the ladder behind us. It's like it takes 2 to tango when it comes to scheduling. So I can try and schedule Bama all the time, as many times as I want. They have to say yes, right? So
you do have the benefits of strength of record. It's like, hey, if you win your games, and even if you're playing nobody else, it's kind of
I mean, I would be interested, and maybe I don't want to take us too far down this road, but like, I don't know that I really believe it, like what Utah's done the last couple of weeks, where they're just killing teams. I think some of that's fool's gold, right? Like some of it's just like, okay, we're crushing some cans, but I mean, if you got 3 teams in the Big 12 in the playoff, I'd be very interested to see what they did. Like.
I mean, you go last year, and
you won't. Let me just leave that. With that. I do not predict that. I don't think it's going to happen. You'd have to have a disaster scenario happen in the SEC where Oklahoma definitely has to lose one more.
Bama has to lose again.
Yeah, you'd probably have to have both of those things happen, and even then, they'd probably make an excuse for at least one of them.
Yeah, Ole Miss maybe. I don't know.
I think Ole Miss is in no matter what at this point. I think
are they only one loss right now?
Yeah, they could lose the Egg Bowl and probably still. They're probably still in. 10-2 Ole Miss is in.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But you
have to have Bama and OU lose.
You probably need both of those. You probably need.
You need Vandy to lose as well.
Which that one to me seems plausible. I think they could lose Tennessee. Like that's on the table.
Yeah, the Tennessee even. I mean, you never know with this Kentucky team. You never know. Like
that's true. They're playing a lot better. That Cutter Bullock can throw the football. He's pretty good. So anyway, all that to say, like, I would be interested to see what happens there, because I think that they're not getting a whole lot of credit. I'm interested to see what Tech does. I feel like if we go back to my preseason on the Big 12, again, I'm going to take a little victory lap here. I said I think the Big 12 is a better conference than people are giving it credit for. The challenge is it doesn't have the out-of-conference schedule to hold it up. Yes. I feel like we're running into that right now.
Although what you do have is you've absolutely decimated the ACC in the opportunities that you had, because Big 12 played the ACC quite a few times.
4-1, and is that right?
Pretty much won that.
Yeah, they beat them all.
You missed, I think, on a few times. I think did you split against the SEC, or did you miss both of them? You missed both of them against the SEC. Ole Miss,
Baylor,
Mississippi State beat Arizona State, and Baylor lost to Auburn. Yeah.
So we talked about that in the preseason too. It was like, hey, you're going to need to win these showcase games, and they just weren't able to do it. And so that, again, as best as you can schedule in the future, like I said, it takes 2 to tango. But the Big 12, that's got to be the thing. Is like, hey, we're investing to win. Again, I think Houston, the arrow's pointing up big time. Like,
yep.
So there are some teams in here, but you're going to have the heads on the wall to prove it, because I don't think you're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
The one thing that you did have is Arizona State making a good showing last year, and if you can have your teams make a good showing this year, I think your best bet is Texas Tech making a good showing. Then you start having to be formidable. So.
And Texas Tech is here to stay. Like, if you look at what they're doing on the recruiting trail, like, they're not going anywhere. So they're playing big boy ball. And I think, honestly, maybe not quite at that exact same level, but like BYU, like, look at what they're doing on the recruiting trail. Look at the guys that they have on their team that will be around next year. Like, some holes to fill, but there's a lot of talent there still.
one of the things that you didn't see that are from BYU that you kind of see it from other teams is like you see a lot of defections, even like in the second and third ranks. You didn't see that last year. I don't wonder if it's a culture
No,
thing. I wonder if it's an investment thing. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that's an interesting thing to monitor because if you can monitor, if you can keep
I
those,
think that's a yes and. I don't think that's
yeah,
an either or. I think that's a yes and. Like the culture's good, the investment's excellent.
yeah.
Again, you lost maybe two guys that you like maybe would want to keep, but maybe at reasonable prices.
You're talking about
And
the wide receiver that went to Miami.
Keelan Marion, who
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
saw
worked
nothing
out
at Miami.
he's wanted it to at Miami. I'm sure that he would have preferred to be. I mean, I'm sure the checks were excellent, right? I think they probably cut a check that BYU wasn't prepared to match or wasn't willing to match, one of the two.
Yeah, he's got 465 yards and a touchdown.
I think that's probably his best season, right?
Yeah, he's the number two
perspective.
receiver, number 2 or 3 receiver on the team.
Yeah, again,
He's-
like it's been good. Like I'm saying I don't know if it's been everything he dreamed it would be.
It would be interesting if they played each other in the playoffs, Miami and BYU.
Yeah,
That'd be a real interesting criminal convicts kind of church kind of Catholic.
I would be fascinated to see what. Yeah, I mean, I think their defensive line would be a problem for.
Yep, it would be very much similar to Texas Tech. Let's say.
Yeah, but I think your defense could keep you in that game. You'd have to stop the run. That's the thing. Is like, can you stop their run game? Because I think in the pass game, like I feel okay about that.
Yeah, if you get pressure on Carson
but
Beck,
I feel okay.
you might be able to cause a few turnovers too.
Yeah. Anyway, be fascinating to see it happen. Do you want to switch to like coaching?
Yeah,
changes?
Let's talk it real quick.
So James Franklin. I like the hire for a couple of reasons. For Virginia Tech, number one, they got like a proven name, one that's like instant name recognition. A lot of that ground he's already recruited. Pennsylvania, Virginia, like that area of the country he's been all over, and I think he's ready to hit the ground running. It sounds like there was a lot of like Penn State decommits that are basically like, I'm waiting to see where James Franklin lands before I decide anything, right? So potential to change that around, maybe not quickly, but like to make a real impact in terms of their recruiting efforts from what they've been in the past. So I'm excited about that. I think it's more fun when Lane Stadium is rocking and when Virginia Tech is good, and when going into that stadium makes other teams nervous. And I don't know if that's always been the case in the last couple of coaches that have been at Virginia Tech. So I'm excited to see what this looks like. That's really kind of where it's at. Like, I think you could do a lot worse than someone who consistently wins all the ball games he's expected to win, that recruits at a pretty high level. I think that they become contenders in the ACC pretty quickly here.
Yeah,
within 2 years. Let's put it that way.
You look at Vautech; their history of being a good team was 9-10 win seasons. Never. One time they had a chance of winning a title, but never like really in contention with those things. And that's what James Franklin is. And so if that's what you're looking for, you're going to get. You probably can get that. He from a Florida State fan, I'm sad that that's the hire, because I think it's a great fit for Virginia Tech. If I'm a Virginia Tech fan, I think this is a home run. I think it's everything you might want it to be, and like you said, it's going to solidify the shakiness that potentially is there with recruits or people wanting to transfer out, because you've got a good coach coming in who's proven that he can build a team from scratch. He's done it at Vanderbilt, and then rebuilt Penn State after the whole who was it? Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien was there, yeah.
And then the Sandusky issue, where Bill O'Brien never really got it off the ground as much. So I think it puts him in a great situation. I am interested. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see how the buyout ended up getting down to $9 million. Did you hear about that yet?
Fascinating to me.
Because if I was Franklin, and I don't know all the dynamics there, but I would have been like, dude, I don't know why you negotiate down. First of all, maybe there's some type of legal issues and you just don't want to deal with all the settlement issues. But I would have signed with Vautech and backloaded that contract 100%.
Yeah, I've been like, I'll work for $500K, put the other dollars toward my salary pool or to my NAL. And
exactly.
Yeah, and then we can really load
money that's being dumped into your program right now. They just said, "Oh, we're going to commit a ton of money." Great, put it in my players. Don't put it into me, because Penn State has got me paid.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would like you said, love to kind of have seen the behind the scenes there of how that got negotiated to what it was, because that seems very favorable to his former employer.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know why would you settle ever? Like, it's in the contract. I'm not settling. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Unless there's some like unless you're really worried that they can fire you for cause, and that would be then you don't get the buyout. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, you could probably front load it if you're talking like time value of money. If we're gonna get like really nerdy here, like okay, yeah, I may let you off the hook for a little bit less upfront, but it would be 70%, 75% of the contract.
Yeah,
pennies on the dollar, which it looks
like. That's what it feels like. I mean,
yeah, I'm right there with you. It's baffling to me. I don't know why. So interesting.
I'll have to go read into it a little bit more, but I think it's a great hire. You get a jump on everybody else. You have somebody locked in. Most of these coaches, a lot of times, are like hired the week before signing date. You have him locked in a month.
Yeah, he can make the final push. I like that. So it's really good timing.
And you can pull anybody that you were interested in that was interested in you at Penn State over to you, potentially at Va-Tech. Maybe not, maybe, but I don't know. I think it's a great hire. Kudos to them to get it locked down.
Yeah, I think they did a great job there. Any other coaching stuff? While we're on that subject, nothing else.
Is there anybody else getting fired this year? The fact that people haven't been fired yet is still surprising to me.
Who else is on your radar outside of Norvell?
I think you got Aranda from Baylor.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. That one should have been 2 weeks ago. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, that's probably it. Oh, no, Wisconsin. Luke Fickell.
Well, they've already announced he's coming back, right?
Have they really?
Yeah, I think they said he's coming back, and we're doing kind of an investment. Like they're doing the same. I don't know if you saw that Maryland did the same thing with Loxley. Which
I did not see that.
So that one made more sense to me because it's like, hey, Loxley is an ace recruiter and has usually done a pretty good job with his offenses too, right? Like they've come up short in a couple places, but like they got 2 freshmen on their defensive line that are playing really well. They have a 5-star defensive end committed to them in their current class, and a pretty promising young talented quarterback. Like to me, it's like, okay, you've got some foundational pieces here that you might want to, not break up the band if those guys are still loyal to Mike Loxley. That one to me made more sense. Fickell, to me, I'm less optimistic that that's going to turn around. Yeah. They also do have a couple of freshman linebackers that have been playing pretty good ball lately, but like to me, that's not at premium positions that I would say like, okay, we definitely want to make sure that they're happy and keep the coach that they committed to around. Like, so yeah, I agree. Wisconsin would be one that I'm surprised it hasn't opened, but it also, they've announced that it will not.
Yeah. And then Kiffin, where does Kiffin end up? Because he's apparently visited
I don't know.
Gainesville and visited LSU.
I don't like, and that's one of those things where it's like, I like him as a coach. I'm glad he's not my coach for these kinds of reasons, right? Like, he's a great coach. He's going to win a lot of games. The antics and stuff, I think, would be very annoying to be like, in that fan base. So,
apparently, as of like an hour ago, he's been issued an ultimatum to make a decision by the Egg Bowl. So,
yeah, I saw that today. It makes sense. You got to say, like, hey, are we, are we still married or are we not? Right? Like,
yeah. Like, let's get divorced if we're going to get divorced.
Exactly.
For the sake of the kids.
So, yeah, I just like that one. I have no idea where he ends up. It's fascinating to see. I'm also glad that we're not in the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes. Not that, again, it just comes with, there's trade-offs, right? You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to do lots of things. I think that these kinds of things that Kiffin sort of relishes and sort of revels in,
he likes the drama.
As a fan base, or as a fan, I would have very little patience for that from my head coach. Be like, come on, man, just shut up and do your job.
I do. I find it interesting that like you brought up Maryland and Wisconsin both saying, hey, he's going to be our coach and we're going to invest more into our team. Like, That's surprising that you don't hear that from Florida State, because that's a great way to do it, because you've given him a lame duck status, like, oh, we'll evaluate that at the end of the season. Whereas
Yeah.
Luke Fickell and the other one, even if it's not real, you don't give him a lame duck status, like, oh, he's coming back and we're going to invest in him. Like, you can say that, and then you like, you know what, you really sucked. We're going to fire you. And like, sorry, we did a further evaluation, and we want to invest this money in the next hire. Like that, it's an easy walk back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it does also dangle that carrot for the players where they can say like, okay, I know who my coach is going to be, and I know that those additional resources usually are probably going to me and trying to keep the important pieces of the roster together. So, yeah, that's actually a really good point that Norvell's probably twisting in the wind a bit more than. I mean, these ones obviously have already been told that they're coming back, but like, yeah, with that vague sort of, is he gone? Is he staying? That status makes it hard for everyone.
This, is he gone? Is he staying status? You've only had one major defection, which is Timmons to Ohio State. Like,
yeah, there may have been one or two others, but yeah, there's the headliner
like
for sure.
Yeah, there's been like one or two that have like, oh, they decommitted, but like, you had your 5-star come out and say, no, I'm Florida State. You had Isaiah Williams, the one that's flipped a million times to different teams, shut down his recruitment apparently. You said he's coming back, whether that's true or not. And you never know with Florida State on the day of signing day, right? We've all been burned for. We had Travis Hunter.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, Travis Hunter shaped scars.
It's true.
Oh man.
Can't say I'm not relishing in a little bit of an ACL tear, but it's okay. Of course, I don't wish any ill will towards him.
He's set for life. He's fine.
I don't wish any ill will towards him. I
revel in the fact that he never won a bowl game. Like, all right.
Yeah. But he won a Heisman. And in reality, like, if I was a GM, if I could have got him and he turned out to be an equally good two-way player, boom, I've got it. I paid as much as I needed for one player, and I got two players out of it. I would take it in a heartbeat. So
yeah. Like, he's at the NFL level. I don't care as much, but it's just more like, it's by a very razor thin margin, FSU won that breakup.
Yeah. Also, what happens with Dion? Like,
good question.
I don't think they're firing him this year, but like, if we have another year like this, is this where Colorado wants to be? Do they want to? Because they pretended like they wanted to be back in the 90s and they wanted to win again, and they recruited like that at the first, but now it seems like Dion's kind of coasting a little bit on the recruiting trail.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and even then, they sort of handpicked the 4 or 5 teams or 4 or 5 players that they really wanted to go all in on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that I was like, maybe that one could open. It's true.
But yeah, we'll see recruiting come signing day.
Okay.
Trauma.
Any games from this next week that we want to like preview before we get into picks?
I know we've gone a long time, but let's see. I'm enjoying it today, and you know what? Screw everybody else. It's our time to hang out.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like the SEC kind of takes a break this week.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. I say with maybe the noted exception of Missouri, Oklahoma, which we touched on the game a little bit earlier.
And then Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, Texas. They're like a few real games, but then all the rest of it's kind of like, all right. Oh, and then Florida, Tennessee, which is always a fun game, no matter what happens, because
it just seems so wrong to not play this like at the end of September, right? Like,
I do. I don't know. I love it.
I like this as like the early measuring stick game. Okay. Like it usually is like one of them is behind the 8 ball in the SEC East by the end of September. And it's usually like, all right, does Florida take care of Kentucky and Tennessee? If so, all right, they might be real contenders. And that's usually kind of the like, if you look at like the history of the last 20 years, it's usually like, okay, Florida's got some early speed bumps with those two. They're not typically problems, or not, I'd say more often than not, Florida's winning both of those games. But I feel like that was always Florida's like 2 kind of ho-hum non-conference games. SEC opener versus Kentucky next week against Tennessee. And I'm a traditionalist, so I just always kind of like that as an early game.
I always like that also they kind of tend to have a put a big wrench in each other's in like their season. Whoever's favored or doing really well ends up losing 95% of the time. It feels like, or in these things. So it's always a fun game. And then you got some great memories from it. I mean, what the Felipe Franks
I've told that
Hail
story on this
Mary.
podcast, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
fun stuff. If you want to tell it again, go ahead.
I mean, now we're deep into this. We'll keep going on like sort of like previews and games that have our interest.
I'll be honest, the one thing I'm sad about, I've enjoyed when BYU plays that late game, because then there's a game that I'm interested in that's late. Because most of the time it's not overly something that's interesting. Like or maybe sometimes it's Florida State late at night playing ACC in dark. But this week there's nobody else that I'm interested in this late. I'm like, whatever. So,
you don't want to watch Washington kill UCLA?
No, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
Both teams are irrelevant right now, but it's true.
All right. So yeah, I'll maybe touch on a couple of these that are intriguing. Virginia Tech hosting Miami now with a new head coach. I think the players are going to be motivated trying to put on a show and make sure that they aren't shown the door, right?
Does he show up this week?
Oh, he'll be there. Oh, I would be. I mean, unless I'm on the road recruiting, which on a Saturday I'm probably not. That Friday night I'm probably going to a high school game if there's one that I don't know how the high school season works out there. It's probably far enough north that maybe their seasons are done. I don't know. Like that's me guessing, but I would be at that game. Absolutely. I don't know if I'm talking to the players too much before it, just because it's like, hey, look, like we'll have our conversations. I don't want to make you nervous. I want you to listen to the coaches that have put together the game plan. As far as I'm concerned, like my role, if I was James Franklin, is I'm just a motivator, and even then, I'm probably not on the sideline, right? Like I'm probably in the box with like the university president and whatnot.
When do you show up to the team? Though
I think he's got his press conference is Wednesday. Excuse me, I think it's Wednesday. So yeah, I think he'll have been around the players for a couple of days. But even then, again, my role is like, hey, do as these coaches are telling you what to do. They've got the game plan. They've got all that, and we'll kind of talk about philosophies.
I would love it
over the coming weeks.
Went and beat Virginia like his first game.
Well, you think he's got to coach one of these games?
I don't know. Why not? Like, why not get involved and be like, hey.
I don't know. I just feel like that's too much whiplash from the players. I would think just like, oh, who is now this person's calling plays. Now this person's,
No, I think you leave it as in. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna be the head coach and kind of guide and direct the team, but I'll leave everything in place as it is, and then we'll evaluate at the end of the
year. Interesting. Yeah, maybe that works. I'm just saying, like, I think that will be.
Again, we've never seen a coach jump in ever. Right?
It's a 10 a.m. local time. I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 a.m. local kick or 12 noon, 10 a.m. my time or Mountain Time kick. Quad boxed in that with Missouri, Oklahoma. I don't know how that Missouri, Oklahoma game shakes out, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to get under 42.5 total points.
Well, then if we're getting under 42,
some defensive scores,
Oklahoma's not getting 20, and they're going to lose that game.
Unless there's some defensive scores, like that one looks like that one might be it. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through other games. Yeah. What else?
Oregon USC, right?
Yeah, Oregon. There it is. Yep, Oregon USC. I think Oregon's going to run the football.
USC's not going to run the football, right?
I mean,
there's no one to run it. That's what
they did get that running back, one of them.
Yeah,
so I don't see USC slowing down Oregon's running game. That what's his name? Whittington? Is that right?
Let's say USC beats Oregon and beats UCLA. Are they ranked too low to get into the playoffs?
Where are they right now?
They're 17. Your losses are to Notre Dame and to Illinois by 2 points.
Yeah, on a missed field goal at the end, right? Or no, a game-winning field goal from Illinois. So you were like, I mean, you were losing most of that game. You came back to take a late lead, and then Illinois snatched it right back. I mean, they might be like I think a 10-2 USC with that. I mean, who are the wins? Let me look at their actual schedule. Who have they beaten? they have any
Nobody.
real like
Michigan, that's
Michigan,
it, and
Nebraska,
Iowa.
Iowa?
Those are 2
Okay,
wins.
so it's not great. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of argue that they could be. Yeah, I could argue that one either way. If they're left out, I'm not saying they're a team that got shafted. That's a good question, but yeah, I just don't see USC stopping Oregon's run game. My like shooting from the hip is that Oregon wins and covers. I think they're just the more physical team. The difference is that can USC keep Maeva upright enough to give the wide receivers a chance, because the wide receivers are so good. Jacoby Lane and Makai Lemon are just killers. And they'll have to be good. They've been good. They'll have to be great. Probably yards after catch, contested catches. Gonna have to make it happen.
If they beat Oregon, just look for the praise to start heaping on Lincoln. Everybody's kind of been quiet on Lincoln Riley. I think there's thoughts of like, will he still be the coach at USC for how much longer?
Yeah, I've heard whispers that he apparently might move, and it's just like, okay, to where is part of my question.
But I mean, if you beat Oregon, like I think everybody's like, oh yeah, Lincoln Riley is one of the top coaches again.
Yeah, I agree that it's been quiet on that for some time, and that will start to reignite that discussion again. Does Arkansas keep it close against Texas?
Love to say that it does, but I don't know if it can. Like that Texas's defense is good. I don't think Arkansas's offense is nearly good enough to say with them. I think this ends up being like a 15-point game win, like 35-20, something like that. 35-21, maybe 14.
All right.
What's the line on that? Is it like 10.5?
I just scrolled past it. Sorry.
Yeah, 9.5.
Yeah. Let's see. I just like that one to me is like, if it's close, I'll tune in. I don't necessarily anticipate it being particularly close. But it is interesting because, like, again, Arkansas considers Texas a rival, and Texas never thinks about Arkansas.
It's BYU, Utah State. Exactly. Let's be real. We know that's true.
I don't know. I think there's enough people here that will at least engage in trash talk with them. It is one of those where it's like your little brother, but it's a rivalry. What else do we got on the docket?
BYU Cincinnati's where you wrap it up, I feel like.
Yes.
And then Pitt Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pitt Georgia Tech. Yeah, excited to watch that
one. Might have major implications in the ACC, because if you do, whoever wins that one potentially is sitting in the ACC championship game, right? Because if Pitt beats Georgia Tech,
if it's Pitt, you still have challenges because they face Miami the next week.
Right.
If Georgia Tech wins, they're in, right? Like,
yeah, you own the head-to-head against Georgia Tech is what I'm saying, and
I switch.
That way
okay, yeah.
And then I think SMU. Who does SMU play this week? Do they play?
SMU plays.
I remember seeing somebody decent.
Louisville, and then they're at Cal.
If SMU loses to Louisville, and if you beat Georgia Tech, you only end up having one team. Or you basically, and then let's say Pitt loses to Miami, you end up with like 3 or 4 teams that with 2 losses right there, and that could get crazy a little bit. So,
yeah,
this could have major implications in cleaning up the stuff or making it really muddy.
All right, and then let's see. Yeah, I guess we already touched on Tennessee, Florida. Yeah, again, if you're rooting for chaos, you want Florida to beat Tennessee and then Tennessee to beat Vanderbilt next week, I think is the scenario. If you're outside of the SEC and you're looking for bids, those 2 results could go a long way in helping you. And then, yeah, BYU Cincinnati. BYU finally a road favorite. I guess they were a road favorite against East Carolina early on, but again, I think the pass rush will be a problem. You got to earn the right to rush the passer. Yeah, I expect a close game. I expect BYU to win. At this point, I'm believing in them, and I know that's when they're gonna let me down, because I'm a traumatized fan of years of disappointment across all of my teams. But I think BYU is going to go in and beat Cincinnati. They're going to win.
Yeah, Sorsby's had 2 bad games last games. I mean, you went 11 for 33, a touchdown and an interception. You had 221 passing yards, but like you end up losing 45-14 against Utah, and then against Arizona just last week. You go 15 for 28, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions, only 154 yards. It feels like some of the teams have figured out how to beat Cincinnati, and they're starting to tail off a little bit. Hopefully BYU can follow suit. But I hope they win as well. Of course.
Okay. Are you ready to go to picks?
Yeah, let's talk it up.
All right. Do you want to recap, or I can?
Yeah, let's recap it. Do you want me to recap everybody or just me?
Either way, I've got mine right in front of me too. So.
Okay. Why don't you start off, because I'm looking for mine.
Yeah, sure. So not a good week for me at all. Utah -8.5 at Baylor was a winner, though. I think Utah is probably just a safe bet at this point. Virginia Tech +14 at FSU did not happen. Wisconsin +20.5 at Indiana. I'm glad that I won that one because you were like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
Iowa USC over 49.5. I wish I had checked the weather before that because, again, the final, they did score 47, if
it was close.
memory's right. And I'm just like, okay, I didn't expect the torrential downpour. And again, like, this isn't like, we're picking these just kind of for fun. We're not like, if we were getting serious about it, like, I would probably check things like that and injury reports before I throw these out. UNC versus Wake Forest, UNC +6.5 versus Wake Forest. This was a touchdowns and field goals thing. Like, Wake Forest was able to turn their drives into touchdowns. UNC could only get field goals. And that was basically kind of the story of the game. Mississippi State +7 at Mizzou. No, what was the final on that one? I didn't. I just know I lost the bet. It doesn't matter. They didn't.
It wasn't close.
It wasn't. And then I had Texas +6 versus UGA, and they got, they stretched out the lead late, but it really wasn't that close. It was kind of a 2-score game, kept them at a distance for the majority of the ball game. So yeah, bad week. So what do? We try and double down and get more.
Exactly.
So, anyway, recap your week, and then we can get into picks for this week.
Talking about Missouri real quick, they won by 22, 49-27. And
thank you.
Hardy, the running back, ran for 300 yards. Like he had a field day.
That's a problem.
Yeah. For me, I have my first winning week in a while. I've Pitt +11.5 at Notre Dame. That doesn't hit. A&M versus South Carolina. I picked South Carolina to cover the 19.5. That hit pretty well. Like you said, I was on the wrong side of the Indiana, Wisconsin, so that's a miss. BYU to beat TCU 4.5. That one hit. North Texas to beat UAB by 18.5. That one hit. Like you, I was on the Utah bandwagon, and then I thought UCLA might keep this a little bit close. Like you said, I didn't know that Nico wasn't going to be playing. And also, if you look at that score, where is it? Real quick, I'm pull it up. Right there. Like, they tried to make it kind of close-ish, but no. Like, the team actually played. Ohio State played and scored more than 40 points for once. So, I go 4-3 this week. So, do you want me to do picks, or do you want to do picks first?
I am good however you want to do it.
All right, go first.
For it. Me? All right.
Yep.
All right. It's a lot. So
all right, well, I'll jot them all down.
All right, yeah. So I mean, if you go 2-7, you have to do at least 10 picks to go 2-8 the next week, right? All right, here we are. NC State +4.5 versus FSU. I still I'm not a believer in this team. I know that the metrics say that, hey, it's a better team. Anyone who's an NC or an FSU fan knows that NC State on the road, particularly on like a weeknight game, is bad news bears for Florida State. So,
but you didn't hear Norvell's tweaking their away game strategy so that they can win the first away game that they've had in 2+ years.
Goodness. Yeah, there's that piece of history too. So yeah, NC State +4.5. They don't even have to win for me to win the bet, but they will win. They will probably win this game. James Madison -13.5 versus Washington State. Cross country travel for the Cougars. They're a decent team. They're not like a great team. They're decent now that they've got the right QB playing. I just think James Madison needs this one. They need it big if they want to try and steal that spot in the playoff from the American.
Yeah.
Or I don't think the doomsday scenario is going to happen for the ACC, but
that's true.
They got to be in striking distance, and winning versus Washington State with a better margin of victory than Ole Miss is kind of the one thing you could potentially like try and pound the pulpit with if you're JMU to try and get in.
Because you played nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. Pittsburgh plus 3.5 at Georgia Tech. Like I said, I think Georgia Tech's fading down the stretch. I know it's a road game for Pitt. They're coming off of a bad loss. I think it's a different level of team, Georgia Tech versus Notre Dame. So give me Pitt plus the points. North Texas, Rice over 55.5. North Texas can score a boatload of points. Rice has got the triple option going, which is either going to be, I feel like teams either stop the triple option like dead cold where it just does nothing, and so that will give the ball back to North Texas who they can score more, or they'll give up points. And again, so I think there's a few different ways that goes over 55.5. Cal -3 at Stanford, not really that much of a road game. I mean, obviously it'll be a crowded environment, and Cal has struggled on the road, but again, it's not like a travel game, right? It's both in the Bay Area, and I think Cal's a better team. So -3, I think they'll win that game by more than 3. San Diego State -12.5 versus San Jose State. San Jose State's not very good. It's kind of just the long and short of it.
Sorry, say that one again.
San Diego State -12.5 versus San Jose State. San Jose State's just not any good. They've had a lead in 4 of their 6 losses, or 4 of their 7 losses, I think now. In the fourth quarter, in 4 of their 7 losses, and this last week, I feel like they're done. Like they were favorites versus Nevada, and I think we're losing 42-3 at halftime. I think they've given up. So that line is not what it needs to be. I think it needs to be heavier. Maryland +14 versus Michigan. They're at home. Michigan's played a little shaky the last little bit. I think with the stability around knowing that your coach is going to be around this year and next year, galvanizes the team. I think that team still plays hard for Mike Locksley. I know that they haven't had all the results that they'd hoped to have. I think they can keep it within 2 touchdowns against Michigan. Arkansas, Texas over 57.5 points. Hoping for Arkansas to help me out here a little bit. Their defense will definitely help me out, but I need their offense to score some points too. New Mexico +3 at UTEP. I think New Mexico's a pretty good team. It's not like a crazy travel from New Mexico to El Paso. I don't know. I think that they're just going to win that game. I think they're going to win the game outright. Last one, Utah -16.5 versus Kansas State. Yeah, Utah is crushing cans right now, and if there ever was a can, it's 5-5 Kansas State.
Oh, you have 16.5. It's up to 17.5 now.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Oh, I've thought of quite a few of those as well. I think I agree with you on the Cal Stanford -3. That's one of my picks. I also went into the North Texas realm, but I'm going to say they covered the 18.5 versus Rice.
Probably right, yeah.
Give me BYU over Cincinnati to cover the 2.5.
I think they'll win. I felt more confident in these other ones. Like, I think they'll win.
Yeah.
But 2.5 is a short enough line. You might as well pick them to cover, right?
Yeah. Miami versus Vautech, 17.5. I think Miami's trying to put some style points out on teams. If you watch that game at all, did you watch that Miami game yesterday?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it.
They were looking to put a hurting on people.
They were, dialed in from the very first play.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the same thing is going to happen. They've got the defensive front 7 to really not be affected by Vautech's mobile quarterback, so I think you're in good shape there. Give me Arizona -6.5 versus Baylor. I mean, it's Baylor.
Are they at home? Is that in Tucson?
I think it is home. Let's see.
Okay. So, yeah, that's actually probably a really good pick.
Yeah, it's at home. It's in the morning, but that's fine. Whatever. And then give me USF -21.5 versus UAB. USF got beat by Navy. I think they'll come back looking for revenge and try and put a hurting on UAB. Give myself a chance. So those are the 6 I've got this week.
Nice. How many did I have? I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I got
7, 9, 10. Yes, and I actually scratched another one that I.
What was that one?
Well, I probably thought better of it, but I could see a world where Oklahoma State goes to Orlando and keeps it within 2 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma State only lost 14-7, or think.
I know it's the travel that makes me worried about it. It's like, okay, they had their kind of like all the wildness going on in the stands. I don't know if you've been keeping up with like their stands and how Yeah, well, the shirtless people, there's a bunch of people showing up in banana peels in a different section. There's like some women that are showing up in these bright orange bob wigs. Like it's they're losing lots of games. They're not losing many parties right now. So I that's the thing is like if it was at home, absolutely they're covering like the -14. Since it's in Orlando and you won't get that same energy, I wonder what kind of what energy you get from the players. But that one's one that's like I think that they could keep that closer. So that's the one I thought through. I did not fire on it. We'll see if I am wise to show restraint or if I will regret it.
Can I just say one line that surprises me a little bit? Penn State -9.5 versus Nebraska.
Okay, well you know that Dylan Raiola is out for the season, right?
Okay, that makes more sense.
So that's the big part.
What's going on?
That's the big part. I know they're at home. Latif is kind of an athletic guy, still figuring out how to play quarterback against that defensive line. I get it.
Gotcha.
Like, that to me makes a bit more sense. On the road, freshman quarterback, really good defensive line for Penn State.
You can tell we put a lot of thought into these, not knowing
we don't always look at them. Like, it's just like,
Yep. But it's fun. So we'll see how we do.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it there. If you've made it through this, you get a candy bar. So, like, text me or email me, cfbpaint@gmail.com.
Make that go viral. You have to go like 10,000 candy bars.
We'll figure it out. I should like say like, okay, you gotta pluck out something from the middle of the podcast that I said. Like I'll find something if it starts getting crazy, we'll couch it. But for the loyalists, happy to do it. All right, I'll let you go. Thanks, man. This was fun. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, actually, well, we'll see. I am traveling, so I'm not sure exactly how we want to tackle that. We'll take that offline so that the users or the listeners will figure it out with whatever we upload next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Later.
I'm trying. It's saying I need to, like, my internet connection, I guess, was such that I may have to, like, rejoin and then close it and then clip this part off. So don't go anywhere, please.
Mom, Dad, like a few other podcasts ago, we love you. Hope you're doing well, having fun. Yeah. And I know my brothers and sisters don't watch this or listen to it, but we love you too. So